Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for Monday, October 13th, 2025. And we are going to be talking about From Loss to Leverage, the Alchemy of Growth. And I'm going to share my screen here, and we will get started with the presentation portion. And as usual, y'all are free to ask any questions you want along the way, because I like having a conversation, not so much into having a lecture. So welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind. Today's topic is very personal and powerful. We're talking about how to come back from loss, not by pretending it didn't happen or trying to make the results something other than they are, or to prolong the lesson that we're supposed to be learning from it, but by learning how to alchemize it into wisdom, confidence, and alignment to rise from the experience to greater abundance. So we're going to start this process with grounding, and we're going to take a deep breath all together. Loss, it can shake us, but it doesn't define us. The soul never loses, it only evolves. And today we're going to reframe every bad experience as the raw material for the next level of mastery. So many of you guys know, I recently walked through a pretty substantial financial loss with a company that I genuinely believed in. It looked solid, the leadership structure, transparency, everything did check out in the beginning. But then things shifted. Communication dropped, promises disappeared, and I lost about $5,000. It stung, not just financially, but emotionally, because I had encouraged others to explore it too. But instead of spiraling into shame or blame, I made the choice to grow through it and not just go through it. The gifts of loss. Every loss gives us three gifts if we're willing to look. Data, which is what did I learn about systems, trust, or due diligence? Energy, where did I give my power away? And how can I reclaim it? And direction, what feels more aligned moving forward? And when we integrate those lessons, the loss becomes leverage. So I was recently talking with somebody who was suggesting that they might want to refund everybody's deposits that they made into this investment vehicle. And well, from a position of guilt, perhaps that might make them feel better, but I really don't think that really helps people in the long run. When we've influenced somebody that's experienced a loss, our instinct is to maybe to try to just fix it, to make it go away. And it's more to assuage our guilt than to actually help the other person. So I really don't think that refunding doesn't really heal the pattern. It just kind of smooths over the surface of things. True healing comes from guiding people back into a position of empowerment, helping them to reframe their story, that this isn't punishment, it was just preparation. And as leaders, I think our responsibility isn't to prevent pain, but to model its transformation into growth. So we're going to look at from reaction to reflection to rebirth. And every transformation follows this energetic arc. We go through the reactionary period of, oh, why did this happen to me? And then we reflect on, what is this showing me? And then the rebirth happens with, who am I becoming because of this? And so when we reach the rebirth stage, we can stop chasing refunds and start attracting returns, both energetic and financial. I personally invest in cryptocurrencies. And while I lost $5,000 with Riot, I also experienced a $10,000 swing in my crypto balances in the last few days. It's anytime you invest in anything, whether it's a startup company, You see an opportunity to buy low and hopefully sell high. There's no guarantee that that high thing is ever going to happen. So, you know, I could I could just like fall apart and say, "Oh, woe is me. I lost all this money." But money doesn't actually exist. So, what does it matter? And it just flows. So, I know that, on the other hand, I also have gold and silver. And silver is like it's going up into crazy land, and gold is hit highs that it's never hit before. It's about recognizing that, some things are dipping and other things are rising, and it's always going to be like that. Nothing is always and nothing is forever. So we're just all here for an experience, and this was the experience that we got to have together recently. So the universe always balances energy. Nothing is ever truly lost, and energy doesn't vanish. It just shifts. And so when we release resistance, the energy of what was lost multiplies back to us and returns through new opportunities, and new things suddenly become visible to us that maybe wouldn't be visible to us had we get stuck in this. It has to be this way because this is how I envisioned it. The key is to stay open and not to become bitter, and to keep our hearts receptive to unexpected blessings, like the baby that's coming next June. So if your loss was simply what if your loss was simply the tuition for your next level of abundance? And if we look at it that way, then I personally have paid probably over $100,000 for the education that I have received about stuff on the internet, doing things different ways, and to learn things that I can share with other people. So I don't look at it as a loss. I look at it as a payment, tuition.
Can I interject?
Absolutely. Please
You
share.
know what? And I love that you're doing this, Jill. It's just really a nice way of kind of structurally framing things to process. I like for me, and I know you know this story for me, is that when I got involved, something in me shifted. Like regardless of being able to cash out and do all of the things with those numbers in, this 3D world of ours, I something shifted in me, like that the openness, the energetic openness to abundance, and it stimulated this next project that I've been working on, the Abundance Playground. And I'm telling you, when like yes, something I think through the whole process and looking at these numbers and increasing. And I just felt so empowered to speak to people, which was never a thing for me in the past, the ease of sharing this. But I just felt this energetic thing to grow and also really not hype, but to speak about responsibility and speak about possibility and just share that with people. And I do recognize hindsight. There were times where I was going, huh, this seems like extreme in the offerings. And, we're kind of having some troubles. And why are you still doing this whole, 3 times your money pitch? Like those were for me cautionaries. But, I was going through that, right? But I wanted to believe. And but I put the brakes on too. I put the brakes on and said, well, okay, show me. Um, and just kept communicating with my people and just, like owning that what I felt my responsibility was to share with other people. But when we got like pretty clear, like this is over and I'm in for a little more than you, Jill, and my number was pretty sweet, and I know yours was too, that we envisioned we had access to. But I just feel Grateful. Grateful because there was this gift for me that just came to life that this facilitated. And like it was like not like a course or all of this internet stuff that I've spent also thousands, like way more than I've put in this over time, but it facilitated through that little game and that mechanism of the excitement around it, the emotional alchemy, I guess, to to be open to what was really coming from me that isn't just about money, but about abundance. And that huge shift for me, like really. So I feel yeah, you know what? I'm talking to my people and there's some pretty senses of bitterness and disappointment. And yet I feel grateful. You, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I do totally understand what you're
yeah.
saying, and I feel the same way. It's like you miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Yeah.
And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Apparently we didn't win on this one. I I don't I don't hold animosity towards anybody about it. Even I don't know what went on with it. It didn't I don't generally fall for schemes
Mhm.
or scams. It just was like it just kind of evolved into one. And now it's really apparent. I mean, maybe I just was choosing not to see what was there, which kind of goes into the 3 ways to transmute loss into momentum, which is to audit your alignment and ask, was I operating from intuition or urgency? And I know for me personally, there was a little bit of urgency in there. The situation that I'm in with my husband, um, I was like, oh, this is it. It's going to take care of solve all of my problems. I'll never have to worry about, working again. I like to work. I like to help people, and really, it's like I don't need a lot in my life, and so I would ask everybody to ask themselves that question: Did you do you invest in things, whether it's relationships or financial investments or things that you're planning on doing? Are you doing it from a place of following your intuition and letting consciousness kind of guide you into where it wants you to go in order for you to realize the things that you're envisioning? Or are you like grabbing onto it and saying, oh, please, I really need this? Because the universe does not respond to I need. It
Mhm.
responds to, oh, this is magical and I want to see like this. And the energy that you put into that is is the energy of the little seed that can burst.
Okay.
When a seed is planted, it's planted in the dark. It doesn't know what's going to happen outside. And there's a huge spark of energy as it breaks open and shoots up its first little greenery. Um, that's how it is for us in life as we're manifesting things. We don't know what's coming, and you're not going to get the fruit from that little thing that's growing for a long ways down the line. It will
Mhm.
come, because that's the promise of the seed, is that there will be fruit at the end, whether it's a flower or a vegetable or whatever it is. It's going to be the promise of fruit, and different things take different amounts of time for you to realize that fruit. I like to say you never reap in the same season you sow. Everything that we're experiencing now has is the revelation of the past that's already been predetermined at to this point. Things have happened so that this experience that we're having right this minute would be available to us. And
Mhm.
ultimately, we're here for the experience. We're not here to have $1 million. So I would like personally to have $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that I will have $1 million one day, but perhaps not today. So what's your Phoenix moment in all of this? I'd like you guys to take a moment and reflect. What's the one experience you once labeled a loss that actually shaped your growth? And you can share it with us if you want, or you can just journal about it privately. But I'd like to witness for all of us to be able to witness for each other the strength in what we're becoming and who we have become through these experiences. Anybody want to share? Okay, I'll take that as a no. You're welcome to hop on anytime.
I can share something about that. And I think it's partly why I do what I do as a relationship coach, is like realizing that each time we've had a breakup, each time we've had an experience with somebody, that we learn more about who we are, about how we work in the world, about the kinds of things that are really important to us. Versus, all of the things that we think we're supposed to want or supposed to have. um and I certainly had my uh the last big breakup I had really showed me all the places where it was like I was giving my power away, and I was living the story of what love and relationship are supposed to look like. And it really helped me to change the way I, sort of interacted with relationship. It was the spark to look for other alternatives.
Yeah, it it can eat us up, or it can, or we can let it, like, let ourselves adapt to it and learn from it and grow from it. I love that example, Deborah.
Thank you. I will say that there were 6 months in the fetal position of like not doing anything before I got to that point. Um, but yeah, just really like allowing all of the things to change me.
And I know that some of us are still stuck in the middle of that, the pain of loss. And sometimes we can look at going into loss and think, am I going to make it through to the other side? And that can be hard too. And it's hard. Sometimes we're put in a position where we don't have any choice about the loss, but there are other times when we make decisions about things that we know that are going to amount to loss in our lives, and
Mhm.
and we weigh all the pieces, but it's not the same as when you take that step into it and you're just engulfed by it. And it's good to know that there are other people around, no matter who you are or where you are in life. There are people around you that will support you, even if it's, and I say even if, often it's the most important piece is just having a safe space where you can talk to somebody about what you're feeling without them having to judge your feelings. I
Mhm.
just acknowledge that, yeah, you're having those feelings. That's, it's totally valid to have those feelings. Hey, Valerie, did you want to share?
Uh, Sure, I can jump in because this past 5 years for me has been all about investing in myself, investing in my education, investing in almost everything except my self-care because there's not a lot left over for that. Um, but yeah, I invested in a business program that I felt, and you know about this, Jill, and
Mhm.
I felt really misaligned with the leaders of the program and felt really not seen, not heard. Um, and then I got into another business program after I swore I'd never invest in another one. and with people where that felt much more aligned, and I felt much more seen and much more received for the work I actually do. And that was great. And I realized that first business program was a stepping stone. It was the foundation. I learned a lot of foundational skills. They didn't come across in language that was meaningful to me or meaningful to my clients. And I'm at the end of this second one, and and I'm not seeing return on my investment. So, but in tangible ways, at least in practical monetary ways. So I'm not feeling the loss from this company that much. And I don't think it's because I'm just hiding it away or keeping it under a rock, but I consciously used the skills I developed from investing in my financial education to do it smartly. And I learned about setting up an LLC. I don't know if I'll ever use it again, but I learned about that. And I learned about, I only invested less than 1%, maybe 0.5% of my total portfolio. So I feel like, okay, I took a gamble with it. If it paid off, it would have paid off big time. And it didn't. So I'm kind of wondering why I don't feel the more pain or remorse. But I don't think I'm hiding it under a rock. Maybe I am. I don't know.
I totally hear you. It's just like, yeah,
It's just what is.
it is what is.
Yeah.
As Byron Katie said, loving what is. It makes life a lot easier than trying to be like, I'm so mad because life isn't what I want it to be.
Yeah.
There's an element to it, I think, just my perspective too. When we've made an investment financially in something with that, you talk about the little bit of the desperation rather than alignment or something like that. And that should it go south, I am hurt. Like I am financial. Now what? Like, oh my God, what's going to fall apart? When there is that angst with it, I think that the weight of it, you stay strong in the hope of it being what you anticipated. And then when it isn't that, then you have to really look at the fact of, okay, now how am I going to handle this? That kind of thing. And versus I don't know, maybe like when you mentioned, Valerie, 1% of your portfolio went into this or whatever, 0.5% or something. It doesn't sound like there was, you're devastated in another way in your life. You know what I don't know if that's true, but and I think that's for me too, that there was I'm okay. And yeah, I expected more of this in that tangible, spendable way. And that didn't happen. But because my landing isn't, okay, I'm not in a whole new pool of stress to deal with other things. I can move forward. So sometimes I think there's those real life, 3D world of, okay, well, I was kind of bridging this, and then then there's the letdown, right?
And I also second what you were saying before, Judy, about how it shifted your perspective, right? It really opened up more prosperity consciousness for me when I said, wow, this could turn into this. And how fabulous is that? And wouldn't it be amazing if it did? It sort of raised the ceiling somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I feel that growth it's palpable for me. Yeah.
I wish I could feel this sanguine about the technology company that I've invested in for 2 years, no, to operate my business. that kind of investment. And it is just disappointing and disappointing and disappointing and frustrating and causing me so much more work than it's saving. So that is, I think, where my angst and frustration is going right now.
Yeah.
If you got any antidotes to that, I'd love it.
What is it, a popular company?
It is, well, not a popular company, I would say, but something that has gotten really good reviews as kind of for very small business owners who don't want to spend a lot and don't need all the bells and whistles, but they can get all the bells and whistles. It's called Engage Bay, so I'm not recommending it to anybody here. But
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, never heard of it.
So yeah,
I was
it's
hoping
like,
it was a go high level thing or close or something like that. That I was like, I could help you with it. I have no
oh
idea
yeah,
about that
you know,
company.
I was with Go High Level from that other business program, and I thought that
Mhm.
was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
To deal with.
I figured it out.
Yeah, you figured
And-
out Go High Level.
Yeah, I did.
It takes
I
a
don't-
lot. I did figure it out, but it wasn't worth the effort. So I wanted something that I thought was going to be more streamlined, like a Kartra or a Kajabi,
Mhm.
without quite the expense.
Yeah, we live and learn.
You know, in this process too, because this idea that was a year old that came to life, and now I'm pursuing it and developing it. I went through some little glitches with it as well, and you know, thinking that somebody was going to build it for me, like that first level, and then they disappeared and disappointed. But that made me, because of all of the evolution of AI technology, I jumped on board with a tool that I could work with. And then, you know, I have been having so much fun learning and building my own platform, like in my system. And then I got over my head because, you know, because it's the first time I've done it. And so I reached out to somebody who knows better, because I created a big thing that had a whole bunch of problems. And
Lot of moving parts.
now that's where it is. It's like this thing, because of the I lost that first person that I really anticipated. They disappeared, and then it made me pivot to like, oh, here's a cool tool. Let me try it. And look what I'm making. Holy cow, like this is amazing. And then now the new team that is like, you know, undoing the wrong and making it right. And but you know, it's, yeah. So my point on that is, from what you were saying, is that I'm just building it into my own thing, exactly what I need. But you know, that's not the answer for everybody either. It's just, yeah, I know what I need, and it's going to be part of the thing. So
It all seems to be part of just this, the shifting and morphing that we're going through terrestrially and you know, galactically.
Yeah.
It just feels all part of this same. There's not going to be steady ground, so we have to learn how to keep our center really strongly, because everything's just going to keep shifting and keep shifting and keep shifting. So
being okay with unknown.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like to tell myself I'm in the now,
Yeah.
in this section of the event stream, and now is good.
Yeah.
This is all I have to worry about is right now. It's like the Bible says, don't worry about tomorrow. Today's got trouble enough of its own. A few of the verses that I remember very well. It's just like, we can do things today that may have an impact and will have an impact later on down the line. I also think that we can shift from the results that we can expect today. We can do something different that can change that trajectory, thereby stepping into a different timeline. And I think that's really what this conversation is about. It's about choosing to be resilient, and allowing others to have permission to be resilient too. When we heal and we heal publicly, we allow others to heal also. And so the next time that something crumbles, remember, gold is only revealed in the fire. And I'm going to offer you guys this opportunity to have a conversation with me about whatever you want to talk about. But if you're transitioning, you're navigating change or loss, it's a season of rebirth for you. And I'd like to help you figure out how to turn it into your next client flow, income stream, or purpose path, and invite you to a client acquisition audit. And from there, we'll align your next steps from a place of calm and confidence and not chaos. It's not about, come buy another thing. It really is about where are you, and can I help you, give you some advice on where to move next. I'd like to anchor in this new frequency that we're developing here. So if you want to repeat after me, maybe put your hand on your heart and say, I release resistance.
Release resistance.
I trust divine redirection.
I trust
trust
my
divine
redirection.
direction.
I receive greater returns through grace and alignment.
I receive
Receive greater returns through grace and alignment.
And then remember that nothing is ever wasted. And I did create a little worksheet for y'all to kind of process all the things that you're going through in terms of moving from loss to momentum. And you can find that at heartlifecoach.com/loss-to-momentum. It's got space for just like working through your feelings and how you can, what you've learned and how you can move forward in the future with loss. And it's not just about riot or what some of us have experienced personally on this call, but it's for any kind of loss that you're going through in your life. And it might even help you if you're making personal choices about stepping into loss. It might help you decide more firmly about what your choices are going forward. We will be talking about that on the Wednesday call. So I have some options for people that will be on that call that, if they want to be in action, there's some action steps you can take. I'm not personally interested in doing much more than I've already done because I don't think it serves much purpose to beat a dead horse to death.
Yeah.
So, which is how
Thank you for doing all that research on chat about it. That's really helpful.
Yeah, I definitely, if you're in Riot and you've heard that that company, please do not give them any money. If they want to do whatever they're going to do for a portion of whatever they can get back, between you and your conscience, but don't ever give anybody money on a promise, and especially not that company, because in their terms and conditions, they do state that they will not refund your money.
And they don't guarantee an outcome either.
Yeah, they don't guarantee an outcome. And I think that's really important. And they are not being regulated by the monetary authority.
Like they say they are. So there is the biggest thing. Yeah.
What company was that? Sorry. I know you both involved, but I didn't know what happened to you, Jill.
You
Sorry.
dodged that bullet, Maria.
For you.
You too, Deb.
If you're not in it, Maria, it's not relevant to anything other than riot. Yeah.
No, the only thing I've done was in teletravel at one point, but I never went into the MLM side of things, and I
This was an AI arbitrage bot,
Yeah.
and
okay.
it
It was so much fun.
it was a lot of fun, and it was totally a distraction from a lot of other things that
Yeah.
I could have and should have been doing with my life. But
I
We
don't know.
needed
You
it.
know what? Like I've said too, and I know, like there's the same for me. I've got my LinkedIn business, and yeah, I totally shifted gears and was, doing the whole growth with this and talking to people, and but feeling really in my element and just like yeah, this I'm good at this. And that thing that I felt so empowered by was like this huge thing. And now, and I kind of just put my LinkedIn business, kind of just let it do its thing, but I really wasn't giving it much energy. And then when things started kind of looking a little funny here, and just all stalled and we're waiting and we're kind of frustrated. And then all of a sudden, people that I got referrals and I've got, people coming from before that I talked to that said, okay, now I'm ready. And that it was just this, okay, well, thank you. And
yeah,
all of that more than like over the next year or whatever, more than covers anything that I've done. And it just showed up, you know. But yeah,
it's that
anyway.
whole energy of abundance, because
Uh,
abundance is all around us, and it can look however it looks, and it can things can come to us in ways that we just can't expect. I look at it like planting a garden. There were years I didn't become a gardener till late in life. Okay, I thought you just threw some seeds down and you had this beautiful garden and it was all pretty and stuff. Um, Apparently there's a lot more to it, but there doesn't have to be really. You can plant your garden, and the first year it looks like you envision because you're sticking all the stuff in there where you want it. And if you're planting seeds, then maybe it's going to look like what you want it, because some seeds won't grow and other things are going to be like coming from the neighbor's yard into your yard. So every season after that, that garden is going to look different, and it's going to grow, and some things are going to get out of control and other things are going to die, and it's just like it takes on a life of its own, and you can't predict what it's going to look like. And there's a little bit of beauty in that. But every year there will be spring and summer and winter and fall, and every season the the vegetation is going to go through the routine that it's supposed to go through, but you're going to be surprised. There's little surprises along the way, and that's what makes life interesting,
Mhm.
not the predictability of it. Because God, life would be so boring if you could predict everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anybody else want to add anything? Lorraine, I know you've been very quiet. I know you're angry. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's one word. Um, my my real question though is how can we recoup from that? Specifically talking about Riot. I mean, I don't feel comfortable just sitting here and going, it doesn't matter. It does matter. And we should be able to. I mean, 30,000 people invested in this company, and we're all sitting here twiddling our thumbs going, oh, it's all right. It's not all right.
I
It's not all right, and they should be held accountable for it, and we should have some sort of legal recourse for it. And I would like to know if anybody is interested. I don't know what to do. I have no clue.
We are going to
But
cover that
I'd
on
be
Wednesday for sure. And I have
okay,
some solutions for that. And I have
cool.
some people that have done some research about concrete things that you can do. And there are other people who have been investigating, like, who they are and where they are. And so come to the Wednesday call, Lorraine. I think you're going to get
Yeah.
a lot more concrete, actionable stuff. This is more of a kumbaya call about, you know,
General.
just
I'm not in that mood right now.
I know, and that's why I'm
Learning
inviting
this.
you to like share
Well,
share
I'm
how you're
just not
feeling,
a
because
person that just sits back and,
I
you know, I'll
we
lash
need
out,
people
and I
like
want to
you.
know how to recoup this. I mean, and I'm not the only one. I know out of 30,000 people, I'm not the only one sitting here going, "Oh crap," you know, because it's more
I
than "oh crap." But I'll wait till
I
Wednesday. I'm
yeah,
patient. I'm not hysterical. But you
and
asked, so
I did ask, and I knew before I asked how you were feeling, so I wasn't like, you're not surprising
And
me.
that's okay.
And
Yeah.
I validate
I
your
know.
feelings because you're entitled to them. It's a big deal, and you had a lot emotionally riding on
Yeah,
Riot, and
yeah.
it's you you have experienced a loss that is greater in a lot of ways than many people who just lost money. You lost hope in something that you have been counting on for quite a while, and
Mhm.
it's painful, and I validate that, you know,
That's not
you have every
the big
right.
reason. The big reason is I feel that we were all wronged, and I think that we should be able to get back. No, not back at them, but we should be able to create a class action suit or something. I mean, there's got to be a way to rectify it. I don't know how to do it. So, but we can talk about it Wednesday. It's all right. I don't want
Well,
to
we
kill the
will talk
mood
about
here.
it on Wednesday, and
Yeah,
there are some concrete things that you can do, steps you can take, and some of us
good,
have already started taking them.
cool.
But I will, like I said,
They're on Wednesday. Yeah.
we'll do that on Wednesday when
Yeah,
everybody's here.
what, no, what you said, it was something that what you just said to Lorraine is something that I was coming through my mind as I was hearing you and Judy and Valerie talk, that maybe the level of disappointment when we lose something is direct proportion to the investment that we put into it. Because you and I know you, but what I heard from Judy and Valerie, they also invested in other things. So losing one piece of the puzzle didn't have a bigger impact on their life as much as it would probably be for Lorraine.
Mhm.
And I think you just validated that
Yeah.
with what you said. That's what came through my mind. It's a bit of like the concept of having your hands in more than one pie and not putting all your eggs in one basket,
Mhm.
as cliche as it may sound, that yes, you have the grieving period, like Deborah
Yeah.
said, which is
Yes.
absolutely valid, and we have to feel our feelings and process through that. And um, from a Kabbalistic viewpoint, once you overcome or skip the why did this happen to me, you look at what Kabbalah calls your tikkun, and what's the karmic lesson that you are meant to be learning from what has happened for you and not to you. And I think that's the trickiest part of it all, is the
Yeah.
sitting in silence with what has happened and trying to analyze it and find why did it happen to me. And you, apologies, and once you start doing that, you start seeing red flags that perhaps had existed 6 months ago,
Yeah.
but your ego mind was not letting you see that because you were so caught in this new amazing thing
Yeah.
um, to notice. So once you go through all of that, then you can move on and you can grow and you can expand and go on with your life with a new baggage of lessons and wisdom.
Yeah, and it applies to everything in life,
Mhm.
not just this one situation. So
Yes, loss in general, or whatever happens for us.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Mhm.
And sometimes just stepping out and believing that better things are on their way
Mm-hmm.
makes a big difference. That something good will come of it, and then look for glimmers,
Mhm.
because something good always does come.
Michelle, Jill, I mean, you and I have a little, sort of history of a few things together.
Mhm.
And and some of them, yeah, like it didn't turn out as I anticipated, or I didn't evolve in them to create but it was kind of like that resonance. I think Valerie, you were talking about resonating with something and not feeling aligned in a way. And that with there was one project also that I got involved in, and I again, fingers in a few baskets. I did just a super small investment in sort of the business side of it to be, involved in potential. And yeah, and it didn't turn out. And I know that I could have been participating with a group of people who were, um, trying to rectify it and go after and get legal and put a lot of energy in, and for me, and in fairness, again, the size of my participation was small, that I didn't feel that the energetic output was worth it, because I realized in the thing, while I was participating in it, I gained that investment in skills, and I got to apply them. And that the promise of the next thing it was supposed to be didn't happen. For me, it was like, no, I got what I came here for, and I was good with it. And but yeah, there was the choice to jump in, and it just felt for me, just at my level, that I just, yeah, wasn't, that energy investment wasn't a good investment for me, for more of the same.
I think that oftentimes we can get involved in things, and the lesson isn't so much in what they teach us or what they're telling us, the transformation that they're telling us that they're going to deliver, as in watching the way that it was set up. And I can address this to Valerie because I know something that we were both involved in, and I learned so much about what not to do with that company. And I did see how the marketing was going. And for me, at that time, it was like, this is how they're doing these pieces. And I can see where their big holes were in their delivery. And they're just people trying to make a living too. And and I think that they in some ways meant well, but you can't, they just like bit off so much. It's like it was a monster, and I don't think that they realized. I know they did a few of these, so it wasn't like their first rodeo with our group, but sometimes we need to like look at what the big picture was and step back and say, what can I take away from that? And for me, it is like I could see going down that path because it was, I have the skills to do something like that, but it's like that's not really helping people. People need
Yeah.
small bits, and they need to be met where they're at, and walk you through the next step, not 57 steps ahead and then life coaching on top of it. Because they were really trying to be life coaches and business coaches. And
Yeah.
and it was like too much.
Mhm.
And then throwing in like technology that they didn't understand how it worked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be you guys.
Was a wild ride.
It was, but I met a lot of really cool people.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, you.
Yeah, I met you. Like I said, I have met a lot of people from that community I'm still friends with, and yeah. So how are we all feeling? I'm kind of feeling a little bit lighter. Everybody except Lorraine.
She's smiling. She's feeling a little bit better just being in company.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, Wednesday. Look forward to bringing some people to that.
Yeah. Bring anybody you want to bring, and I'll have, hopefully I'll have some people there that had been gathering information, and then we'll be able to have some like concrete things that if you want to take further action, these are kind of the steps that you would go through to pursue it. Okay, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you, Jill.
We'll
Thank
chat next
you.
week.
Thank you, Jill.
Bye.
y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jill. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.